Hello, everybody. I am Megan with Everybody Yoga with Megan, and I am beyond excited to have Mojo back for season 2. Today, we are going to discuss tarot again, but this time specifically the death card. So, I have a unique deck that was gifted to me by my sister in law, but this is the death card in my deck. It's not necessarily representative of a typical death card, but I just wanted you to see what that looks like ish before we get started. So let me bring Mojo into the room, and I'm just going to let him go for it because he is the expert tonight. So Mojo, hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here.
So let's just jump in. You're the man with the information. Share with us what we need to know.
Well, when you told me that this was something you had planned, I thought, what a great time and what a great idea. Because in Western culture, we're terrified of death. We really don't deal with it well. And it's something that I was always told. There's two things you have to do: is die and pay taxes, and you don't actually have to pay taxes, right? But that is one of the great guarantees in life, is that eventually our time will come up. So if you're doing tarot and the death card comes out or the devil card comes out, everybody freaks automatically.
Yeah, they're just like, oh my God, my life is ending.
Yeah. That's not necessarily the way it is. Death is transformation. And we're experiencing death all the time around us, and it's a natural process. We see death in the seasons, and we see death in the cycles. And so when you pull the death card, it's an opportunity to see change and acknowledge it. And we were talking briefly before we started. We are in the process of transformation and change right now, and we're in the midst of the COVID, pandemic, and death, legitimate death, is all not symbolic, but real death is all around us. All of us know someone that has passed, and so it's a reality for us. And then the world we live in now is transforming.
Mm-hmm.
We're not sure where we're going or what's happening. It's a brave new world and a great adventure, and I think it's important to look at that as acknowledging the death of what has been and embracing what's coming next. And one of the things when you look at the death card and you the picture you had, the one thing's always in it is the skeleton. And it's important to understand that that's your frame, that's what you build on. And so it's always important to understand the structure is there in the card, and you take the trappings off, you take all the glitter and everything off, and you're left with the skeleton. Mm-hmm. And then it gives you an opportunity to reflesh it, remember yourself, and put the pieces back in place the way you need to be now. Because a lot of times it's important to understand that things that no longer suit our needs or we should empower ourselves to release that.
Yeah.
And we can. And then we have the opportunity. What you don't want to do is let everything go, because then you don't have anything to build on.
Yeah.
And so it's important to understand that the skeleton is not something to fear, even though it's associated with that a lot of times. But it's your bones. It's what holds us up. It's what supports us. And then we have the opportunity to rebuild it. So when you see that image in the card, it's important to remember that. One of the things that I was talking about, that I was looking, because I know how I'll interpret it, and I want to look at that, is that the skeleton usually is not, they're looking away, they're not looking right at you. And I don't remember how Crowley's card is.
Yeah, he's turned completely away. His face is not looking outward.
That's a good thing. He's not coming. And yes, can the death card say that death could be involved? Absolutely. But one of the things that I learned years ago is gypsies say you don't tell somebody they're going to die in a tarot reading, because that's bad luck.
Yeah.
That'll bring something back to you. And I'm going to be honest with you. I've been reading since 1975. I have never in my career seen death in somebody's reading. Now I have seen things that said you probably need to go to the doctor and get checked out.
Yeah.
Let's
prevent the death.
I've never seen that. Now, it also matters, is it past, present, or future in your card reading? Because if it's in the past, then that could have something to do with somebody that was important to you that maybe has passed, that changed something or facilitated a change in yourself. Or if it's present, what are you going through? What changes are happening with you? Because I'm going to be honest with you, before something new can happen, something old has to die.
Yeah. So death of ego, death of career, death, something has to give way for something new and wonderful to occur.
Absolutely. And even in career and in romances and relationships, that could be death of patterns that no longer serve those relationships.
So it's not that it's ending,
No, not at all.
essentially, but some part or aspect that doesn't serve you is falling away.
It gives you an opportunity to look at it differently and change some things. So I think that's the the most important thing. The other thing, if you look in most traditional cards, it shows the death with the Reaper, and it usually always has a king. Some of them have a decapitated king's head with a crown on the ground, and it has a bishop, which is religion and politics, and it tells us that death is a great equalizer. Change is the great equalizer. No matter who we are, what we have, we can never fully be prepared for change.
Yeah.
Just the way we look at the way life is changing now, and we talked a little bit before the show. You think you can be prepared, but sometimes you can over prepare for the wrong thing. And if all of your eggs are in one basket, that can manifest as a weakness.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you have to, like you say, a death of that preparation. Just relax, go with the flow, and again with the skeleton, land on your feet.
Yeah.
When everything else is gone, you still have that structure and you can still stand, even though you may be a little bit wobbly.
Yeah.
But it's important, to be able to be open to that, and to look at things like that, and to understand that we have those opportunities, and that we patterns and things like that can change, can shift, and we should empower ourselves to say that's okay. That change is good. Even I always talk about shoes. It's like my wife will buy me a new pair of shoes, and I'll wear the old holy ones because they don't hurt my feet. Even though I need new shoes, I don't want to do it because I hurt my feet.
Yeah.
So change is usually never comfortable. Even good change is scary and uncomfortable, but that's necessary, because if everything was comfortable, we never would change.
Well, and we're seeing this, and we talked about this a little bit before, on a global level. The entire planet is changing. And frankly, in my humble one little person opinion, it's needed. What we were doing and how we were living was unsustainable. It's time for change.
It's not working, and it's going to change.
Exactly. So this death card can really mean something beautiful is coming for us as humans, as beings, as spiritual beings. You mentioned also earlier about the sun setting and or rising. I'm not really sure what the drawing is showing. Can you talk about that a bit?
In the card, it shows a gray sky, which traditionally that's a good thing, because that shows that it's not that there's no, it's not set in stone. It's not the dark,
Okay.
So there's a little opening there. It's also the setting sun between the moon, between the two towers, the same towers that are in the moon card.
Okay.
And that means that it's, again, not completely dark. You still have a little bit of time. And what that means is for you to prepare. One of the things, and I have some notes, one of them is you should always be ready. Don't leave anything unfinished. Don't have unfinished business, no matter what. We should always be like that. But a lot of times we're not. It's like the bucket list,
Yeah.
So that's one of them. The other one is there's a river in the back of some of the cards that is symbolic of the river running to the ocean and then, evaporating into rain and coming back. So it's that cycle. And we need to understand that we're not the universe. We're a very tiny part of it. And that cycle is a natural evolution, and we're just a part of it. And sometimes we really need to wrap our heads around it, like you say, releasing the ego, that it's not all about me.
Yeah.
It's not all about humanity. there's a lot more going on than just us,
Us.
us because we can walk upright and talk. That doesn't necessarily mean that's strength.
Yeah.
you
I'm
know,
really resonating with what you said about leave nothing incomplete. And what's really landing on me is our relationships and our communication. And um, if you love someone, you tell them. And if
you better. I can't hear you now.
oh goodness,
Now I can.
yeah, my phone is going crazy about an Amber Alert. I'm not sure how to turn it off.
Oh, I hear it. Mine is too. That's okay. That's what roll with the flow, sister.
We're in
Bang.
change.
There we go.
But this idea of being complete, right? So if someone has hurt you, to be brave enough to explain and be vulnerable and say like, hey, that hurt me, and they can choose to respond however, but your energy around that interaction is complete. And if we can all live in that completeness, maybe it'll be a better place. I don't know.
Absolutely. Another quote that I found while I was doing, preparing is the temporary nature of personality is self-perceived.
Ah,
It's all in our head,
we've
Uh,
made that shit up.
the world does not see us as we see
As
ourselves
we
in our
see us.
head.
Yeah.
The quicker we can get over that, the better we'll
Better.
be.
I say that in yoga, right? Like everybody is on their own mat, worried that everybody else is thinking about them on their mat, and everybody else is thinking about themselves on their own mat.
Absolutely.
Nobody cares if you can put your leg behind your head. They care if they can put their leg behind their head.
Absolutely. And then I seen another thing, I that really, really resonated with me is live well, die well, and ancestor well.
Mm.
And I think to me that really resonated because I am getting older, and I do want to live well. I want to experience everything, but I also want to be able to transition in a noble way, and do it, to where it's not, I really don't want to go kicking and screaming. I
Yeah.
want to
With
go.
dignity
I want to
and
honor the transition that's going to happen to all of us.
yeah.
And ancestor well is you want to move on as pure a form of energy in family as you can, because a lot of times and I know we're kind of getting off of the death card, but we're still talking about death, is that's how folks remember you.
Yeah.
That last, what did you say last? And
Yeah.
you hear a lot of times, people, saying, I love you.
Yeah.
Think, that's when it all of a sudden all that other stuff doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. It's down to basics. Like say humility. It all brings it down. Everybody's the same. Nobody, all of a sudden those 20-car garages really doesn't matter. That giant yacht. I mean,
Doesn't matter.
it all comes down to that very small energy circle that you have around you at that moment in time. And so it's that change, and it's that embracing that change, and acknowledging it, not being afraid of it,
Yeah.
going into it boldly and consciously, and celebrating whatever's coming, and understanding that there's no way in the world that we could be fully prepared because we don't have a clue what's coming.
No clue.
you know
So I think that's a perfect place to end. I think we ran over last time too because I just love talking to you. So live well, die well, and ancestor well. And that's what our tarot death card can encourage us to do, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you for your time and energy.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you.
I love you very much. Thank you so much.
I just want to squish you. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining us. Next week, we'll be back.